Thank you very much for Khaki Lab to inviting me this talk on BDD Chawls. Uh, I'm happy that my teacher has also joined to listen this talk. They are my colleagues, my friends, and member of the Khaki Lab. Before I start my lectures, as you mentioned about the Khaki, that Khaki is, they want to keep heritage alive, and I think BDD is it is not technically declared as a heritage, but it is also the both kind of the heritage, tangible and the intangible. In my talk, you can see how the culture has preserved by the BDD Chawl resident. So in future, I hope that BDD will be considered as the heritage part of the Mumbai. And Khake has initiated a number of talk on Sundays. I hope in future they will also start with the labor walk at the BDD Chawls, mainly in the BDD Chawls and the surrounding area of the Lalbagh, Paral, Lower Paral, Worli. So because this area is known for his labor movement, labor kind of the labor habitant. So as I as you know that BDD Chawl, it was constructed in the 1920s, uh, but before construction of the BDD Chawl, there was a debate between the colonial government whether such kind of the chawls should be constructed for the working class. So you can see that uh, from the Revenue and Statistic Department 19 it's a 19 it should be 1917. It is written in 1977. It should be 1917. The Sir William Mayer is he is reported that the mill owners will derive a considerable advantage from the revision of the cotton duties, and he urged them to turn to recognize that and they have duty to the community, that is the fulfillment of which will also be able to also be to their own ultimate interest by improving the efficiency of their workmen through the better housing and more sanitary surrounding. So through this debate, we could understand that colonial government was also pressuring to the mill owners to use their benefit or the whatever the duties, cotton duties, and also the some tax concession they should use for the working class, basically better housing for the working class. So before BDT Chawl, we have seen that there was a BIT Chawl, but BIT, Bombay Improvement Trust, which whatever the construction they have made, it was not sufficient to the working class because the number of working class was tremendous, and it was not sufficient. Those housing would be a kind of fulfill the whatever the numbers of the working class. So it was in 1960s and 1970s the debate has started whether the municipal government, state government, or the mill owners should construct the housing for the mainly for the textile workers. And we have seen that through the pressures of the colonial government, the mill owners has accepted to construct to help the construction of the BDD chawl. So one should understand that BDD chawl was not only constructed by the colonial government. There is a contribution of the mill owners, and obviously the workers contribution is also the important. So in that sense, we could see that basically uh, the working class contributions was also the importance in the construction of the BDD shawls. Yeah, I'm just yeah. So these are the BDD Chawls areas where we can see that there is a Naigaon, Dila Road, Worli, and the Shivdi. So these are the four places we could see the BDD Chawls. And in the Naigaon, there are the 42 BDD Chawls. And in 1924, in 1928, there were the total number of tenants were the 2,351. In Dila Road, there are the 32 BDD chawls and roughly 2,000 tenants were there. The Worli had the 121 BDD chawls and around 3,000 tenants were there. And the Shivdi was, there were the 12 BDD chawls and near about 850 and 58 tenants were there. So, though it was a constructed for the meal workers, but along with the meal workers, there are the other workers who occupied the BDD chawls. So, but roughly you could see that nearly more than 50% in Naigaon, Dilara and Worli, the cotton textile workers were resident of the BDD Chawls. So it is known for the textile workers habitant. The BDD Challenge is known as a textile workers habitant. And in the 1920s, it cost around nearly 3.49 crore rupees. And now these all most of the BDD Chawl except Shivdi, they are going through the redevelopment. And if you see the estimate around of the redevelopment or the reconstruction of the BDD Chawl, it goes till the 16,000 to 70,000 crore rupees. So you can see the how this labor habitant on the neighborhood area of the textile area has in a market wise also it has changed. The land price has also the change and the construction side. Along with that, it is very interesting that when it was started, it had a 7 to 10 rupees per month rent for the workers or the resident of the village hall. But along with these 100 years, this rent was went up to only the 17 or 18 rupees. So from the 7 rupees to 17 rupees, only 10 rupees has been increased by the government during these 100 years. And that's why we could see that these are the VDD chawl, these are the most of the VDD chawls was very affordable for the working class, and still we could see the most of the urban poor are resident of the BDD chawl. It's because of the rent which was levied by the PWD department, and it was never increased rapidly, or it never you know it had its limitations, and it's because of the pressure of the labor movement. It was not like that government didn't want to increase the rate. Obviously, there are this so many instances happens where government wanted to increase the rent of the BDD chawls, but obviously the working class movement was alive. Working class movement was powerful in this neighborhood area, and just because of the labor unions, their movements, and obviously active participation of the BDD resident, it could not rise a more as compared with the other chawls in the Bombay city. Yeah. So when it was constructed in 1938, G.R. Pradhan has written a one book called Untouchable Workers of the Bombay City, where he mentioned about the BDD chawls and what was the condition of the BDD chawl in those days. Uh, just I will read some part of his book, like he's writing that in this heat and the smoke, little children sleep, school-going children study, and the sick and the tired take rest. Pleasure of home are denied to them. A wooden box, a bamboo, or even a broom is placed between the two beds at night if there are the two or more couples living in the one room. So we could see that in initial phase till the 1940s, these BDD chawl was not popular for the working class. Yeah. So in 1936 and 1939, though it was constructed in the 1920s till 1928, around most of the village hall were constructed. But till from the 1928 to 1936, these village hall was not occupied by the working class because of its constructions, because of the a lot of problems were there, ventilation problem or there, water problem were there. There are so many problems were there, and they're looking at the construction style. The workers were not happy with that BDD chawl constructions, and they were not taking taking allotment of the BDD chawls. So hence we could see that the colonial government wanted to convert it to from the labor class to middle class. So there was an idea to combine the two rooms, BDD chawls rooms, and make it affordable for the middle class. But it was also the failed because as workers were not willing to stay in the BDD chawls, and the most of the rooms were the vacant in 1930 till the 1936. Uh, the middle class also didn't want to join BDD chawl because of its again it's the constructions and the problems the problems the lot of problems were sanitation problems and all that. So uh, for the working class also it was a failed project, and for the middle class also it was a failed project. But in the post 1939, we could see that whatever the vacant, the nearly 60% were vacant till the 1939. But in the post 39, in the post war period, we could see that these are the BDD chawls were occupied by the workers in full strength. Now, if we so what I'm going to describe the population of the BDD Chawl, their segregations. It is based on my interviews and my personal visit to the all three part of the BDD Chawl, that is the Dila Road, Worli, and the Sivri. So we could see that uh, 30 to 31% populations were belong from the Dalits or the Neo Buddhist caste. Roughly about the 33% were basically from the dominant caste. So here dominant caste means that is the Marathas and the other backward class. So there are the 3 to 4% Muslim populations were staying in the BDD Chawls, and same with the Christians. They are roughly about the 3%. Uh, After 1990s, we could see that the number of South Indians, North Indians had, they have there are some BDD Chawls they have occupied by the South and the North Indians, and there are some BDD Chawls where typically kind of for the hospitals, government hostels, student hostels, and other purposes also. So roughly, if you see that majority was from the Dalit and the Neo-Buddhist, and the dominant caste like the Maratha and the OBCs occupied these BDD Chawls overall the Dila Road, Worli, and the Shivri area. So as I mentioned about the Dalit populations, roughly about the 33%. So their presence was there, and we could see that there are some road names and some area which we could connect with the Dalit movement and the people who fought for the Dalit movements. Uh, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar himself visited so many times through the BDD Chawls. There are so many women's from the BDD Chawls who became a part of the anti-caste movement with the Dr. Ambedkar. Like there is one example we could see that the Sakubai Mohite, she you can see the middle pictures where you can see the Sakubai Mohite is with the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and she was part of the anti-caste movement. And in the Dila Road area, there is one lane which is called as the Sakubai Mohite. So in the public sphere also, the public space also, we could see the Dalits has, they had there is a presence of the Dalits in the in the public spaces of the neighborhood of the BDD Chawls. So that is a important that is a very important, because BDD Chawl is the only place kind of the chawl where we could see that the Dalit presence is a very visible as compared with the other chawls in the Lalbagh, Girgaon, which was constructed by the mill owners or the textile mills. So uh, so it's because of, again, it's rent charges which was very less. Dalit could be part of this BDD chawl residence. So that is the one reason we could see that in the chawl system, Dalits are visible more in number in the BDD chawls. Yeah. So now, how the BDD Chawl residence has taken the spaces, how they have used their spaces for the religion. It is very interesting to understand or to know. You can see that there are so many historical places, uh, uh, historical religious spaces are there. Like in the left side, you can see the church. It is a Methodist church, which is in the Worli BDD Chawl. Now it is not in the use in only the festivals. It is has been used because the number of Christians has declined. So it is not kind of used by the everyday religious praise and all that. It is only we can see the only in the Christmas or any festivals, we can see that on this church is a visible in form. Again, you can see this Vitthal Rakubai Mandir in the Worli BDD Chawls. Both right pictures are the, yeah. So it has also this mandir has also created a cultural kind of cultural visibility in the BDD Chawls. I will show the later on the pictures of the how this mandir and this Veer Netaji Krida Mandal has organized various festivals and the uh, uh, cultural activities has been organized, and how this temple is an important part of this Worli BDD Chawl. Yeah. So again, you can see. So these are the yeah. Going again back. So you can see this Vitthal Rakubai Mandir. is it is constructed between the two BDD chawls. So they have used the middle place everywhere. It is about the uh, Dila Road, it is about the Valli or about the Shivdi. Everywhere you can see the space between the two chawls has been used for the religious purpose, whether it is for the mandir or it is for the vihar, and sometimes it is for the masjid also. Yeah. So again, the most of the BDD chawls use their front area for the religious identities. You can see that this is the BDD chawl 95 in the Worli, which is dominated by the Buddhist, and you can see that that space has been used by the religious kind of the structures. Again, the most of the walls of the BDD chawls were painted with the Ambedkar's Dr. B.R. Ambedkar or Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj pictures. So you can see the most of the BDD chawls. Either you can see the photos of the Buddha, Ambedkar, or the Shivaji Maharaj. So these are the common things you can see in the most of the BDD chawls, and that is the most important things. That is the unique of the BDD chawls. If you go in the other chawls in the Bombay, it is very difficult to find such kind of the pictures and such kind of the religious activities take place in front of the chawls through the statues and all that. Yeah. Again, yeah, this is the right is the Bhavani Mata Mandir in the Naigaon. So that is also we can see that it is the middle place between the two BDD chawls has been, and it is when we yeah. So if you go inside the BDD chawls, they have the kind of the mud. It is called as the Madlanar. Or it is a common room between the every floor. So BDD Chal has the a kind of the four floors, like the ground floor, first, second, and the third. And for every floor, there is a one common room. Earlier, it was used for the water purpose. Basically, till 1980s, there were not everyone has the water tap in their house. So there was the only common water tap, and the people used to come in this room, come in the middle room or the madlanar to for the water purposes and other activities related to the water. So, but later on, when water connection was, every house was connected with the water tap, then this space was used for the various purpose, and the one was you can see that it was converted in the uh, uh, Buddhist religious place. Likewise, they have converted in the Christians has converted for their holy places. Hindus has converted for their own holy places. So this entire space has been used for the respective religious places, which was a common, and it was used for the other things. But the few BDD Chawl resident converted into the religious places. Yeah. So you can see this is masjid. Again, it has used the uh, space between the two chawls, and the exactly right side of the BDD chawl is a BDD chawl number 100, and that is the only one building, or that is the only one BDD chawl which is a kind of Muslim dominated BDD chawls, and surrounding you can see that surrounding BDD chawls either from the dominant caste or the Dalits. So in the Valli BDD chawl, this is always become a sensitive area for every festivals and all that, because only there was this BDD chawl was only the Muslim dominated, and the surrounding dominant caste and Hindu upper caste and the Dalits were occupied. So for every festivals or for every any political tensions, the police protection was given to these BDD chawls. This BDD chawls. You can see this is Amba Devi Mandir at the Worli BDD chawl. It is very close to the Jamburi Maidan, which is famous in the Worli BDD chawls. Yeah. So apart from the religions, sport was also the part of daily activity of the BDD chawls. Uh, you can see that every BDD chawl has its own kind of sports wing, and most of the BDD chawl they have they are founded the sport committee, and the sports committee use the all kind of the activity, but along with the sport they organize the various festivals, various activities for the resident, uh, and most important was the sports. So how the BDD was important for the sport activity. From the 1930s also we could see there are the so many sports clubs has been established uh, by the all communities. So the now what picture you are saying, that is the Navajivan Krida Mandal, Navajivan Vyayam Shala. So it was started in the 1955, and it was obviously it was by the Dalit wrestlers, that is the Hari Kamble and the Tatuba Kamble. So these are the two wrestlers who founded the Navajivan in 1955. And very interestingly, you can see in the right side corner. So basically in the entrance, they have written about their name and in which year it was founded. So it is interesting to know the history of the Dalit sports clubs, which is not in the written forms. They don't have any archival records, or they don't have any documentary evidence, but such kind of the written records on the wall. When you enter the that room, you can see that they have written their names and which year it was established. And the board which was recently written, but earlier the right side, that the name this name was a only source to understand who has established this Navjivan Vyayam Shala. And this is a wrestling. You can see this, and inside the rooms, you can see the mud is there, and obviously it was for the practice for the wrestlers. And BDD Chawl, like the BDD Chawl, early BDD Chawls was basically dominated by the uh, Satara or the Western Maharashtra, mostly Satara workers, and wrestling was very popular in the Satara and the Kolhapur. So we could see that these workers were involved in the wrestlings, and they have, these rooms has been used for the wrestling practices. Though they had kind of immediately in front of these BDD Chawls, we could see there is a Ambedkar ground, there is a Ambedkar Maidan, but still they have, created. Uh, they have used the mud, and they have created a wrestling club inside the BD ritual. It is very interesting. If these people will go outside, after 2 seconds walk, there is a kind of the Maidan. They could have practice in that Maidan also. But why they have the separate? Because of the training and all that, it might be a disturbing to do the practice, in the open places. So they have used these chawls as a kind of the gymnasium schools for the wrestling and all that. Even the most important thing is that in the 1940s there were the few gymnasium mandals was inaugurated by the Babasaheb Ambedkar, and that is a very interesting part, because of presence of the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar till the 19th, till from the 1935 onwards, we have seen that BDD Chawl became a bastion of the Ambedkarite movement. So that was the reason why BDD Chawl became a bastion of the Ambedkarite movement. One was the participation of the BDD Chawls in the Ambedkarite movement, and the vice versa, that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has visited a number of times to the BDD Chawls, like opening the gymnasiums, opening the kind of the libraries and all that. So he was very connected with the BDD Chawls, and hence there is a kind of the emotional connection of the Dalits of the BDD Chawls and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. When I will talk about the Ambedkar Jayanti, you could see, you can connect with this point, with the how these people are celebrating the Ambedkar Jayanti in the later part. Yeah. So as I mentioned about the sports, the sports has a history in the BDD Chawls. It was started in the immediately after the BDD construction of the BDD Chawl. We have seen a number of activities has been organized, and later on it was developed. As you see that, you can see this youth club is there. It was established in the 1967. So there are the number of other clubs also. They were established in 19 like 1930s, 19 35, 1940s like. So these clubs are also as old as BDD Chawls. And the very popular game, or the popular kind of indoor sports among the BDD Chawl resident is the carom. So you can see the right side in the afternoon. Okay, in the afternoon, the resident of the BDD young boys are playing the carom. And uh, yeah. So every part of the BDD chores, the corner place, wherever there is a kind of the open space, so that has been used for the caroms and all that. So carom is a become a very popular among the BDD chores. Yeah. In the next, as I mentioned about the earlier, that is the middle Madlanar. So you can see these are the pictures of the Madlanars. They are the few people has used still for the water purposes, and the few people has the few BDD has used as a basica. So they are using for the as a study room. Uh, as you aware that BDD Chawls, the space is very limited and they cannot do all activities. As I mentioned about the Pradhan's books. He also mentioned about the children can't study in in a limited space. So in future, uh, in later phase, the few BDD Chawls who are kind of awaken about the education, so they have converted their that middle place as a study room, as a library. So such kind of the kind of the open kind of the common area has been used by the BD rituals, and also they have used for the domestic and economic activities. Yeah. So again come to this the same madla nal or the middle common room. It has used for the Vyayam Shala also. So gymnasium also there. So not only the a specific room has been used for the gymnasiums. There are the few BDD residents. They have used the common room for the gymnasium also. Yeah, and you can see that the children are playing in between the two BDD chores. So wherever possible, BDD residents are using the open sphere for the various activities, for the sport activities. You can see that children are playing in between the two BDD chores. So as there are the very few limited grounds were there, wherever open space is there, that has been used for the sports activities by the children's and the youth of the BDD Chawls. Yeah. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is the Jamburi Maidan in the Worli BDD Chawls, and exactly behind that Jamburi Maidan, you can see it is in bad condition, in depleted conditions. It was basically at Worli at Dila Road, close to the Maidans. We have seen the Kamgar Kalyan Mandal, so which is a kind of the welfare of the workers, and they were basically established for the working class, and various activities were conducted by these Kamgar Kalyan Mandals. But in the later phases, we could see their situations and they were vanished in the due course. As I mentioned about when I was mentioning about the sports, as I said, wherever possible, they have used this open space for their sports activities. So you can see that this entire box right now, we can't find more numbers of such kind of the uh, pigeon net or the pigeon box at the terrace of the BDD Hall. But before 10 years or the 15 years, we could see most of the BDD Hall has such kind of the pigeon box on the terrace. So what is the use of this pigeon box? Basically, uh, any particular person, any particular residence who has constructed uh, such kind of the pigeon box, so they use this pigeon for the racing purpose, or the which basically flying in the sky, long time flying in the sky. So there was a kind of the competition between the pigeons, among the pigeons, matlab, which pigeon is flying in the sky for the longer time. What I In my interview, one of the person who runs such kind of the pigeon race or the pigeon flying race, he told me there. there is a record of more than 2 hours. The pigeon was in the sky, and obviously it was the such kind of the pigeon, when the kind of the using the boxes, and for the using the pigeon race is very popular in the BDD Chawls only. Again, you don't find such in the Lalbagh Parel area. So there are the other chawls also, but we could see it is in the BDD Chawl only. Yeah. So again, it is important to understand the history of the BDD Chawls, and there was always communal tension between the two BDD Chawls or the group of the BDD Chawls. As I mentioned that from the beginning only, when these BDD Chawls were occupied, it was occupied based on the caste, on the religions. As I mentioned about the BDD Chawl number 100 in the Worli, so that is mostly occupied by the Muslims. There are the Sambidi rituals, which was mostly occupied by the Dalits or the Neo-Buddhist, and again, dominant caste or the Marathas or the other backward caste. So every BD ritual has its own identity, the identity of the caste, identity of the religions. And from the beginning only, the caste-based or the religious-based distributions of uh, the rooms, distribution of the BDD rooms among the working class. In later phase, it has created a communal and the caste-based violence frequently in the history of the BDD Chawls. So we can see that in the 1946, there was a clashes in the Bombay Chawl area. The 15 person were injured in a stray attacks, and the printing press was damaged. So it is very interesting that when Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was involved, or he was in the process of the writing the constitutions, at the same time, so we could see at the Dadar, his printing press was damaged in the caste-based violence happened in the Naigaon area. So it was matlab in the Naigaon area. So there again there was a caste-based violence, and it affected the printing press, which was established by the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and which was very close to uh, the other east. And so we could see that so such kind of the violence has very from the beginning we could see. Even in the 1974, there was a political tensions, blame for the Worli riots, and that was the kind of the Worli become a kind of uh, always uh, uh, always top, always in the news for the riots or the communal tension between the Dalits and the non-Dalits. So it was in 1974 we could see that, and this early riots has made a effect on the entire landscape, political landscape of the Maharashtra. It has changed landscape, and it was when the Dalit Panther was emerging. So that was the period where we could see such kind of the riots happen in the Valley Chawls. Even again in the 1990s also we could see a kind of tense after the riots in the BDD Chawls, and there was a kind of 15 days as a prohibited orders were passed in the view of the escalating communal tensions in this area. So always these BDD Chawls were remain in the news for the communal tensions, communal conflicts on the basis of the caste and the religions. And it was a basic problems which happen in the when it was established BDD Chawls, the kind of allotment of the BDD Chawls according to the caste, according to the religions, that became a problematic for the next 100 years till 2025. Yeah. Though we have seen that there were the problems, there were the communal problems and the kind of the caste-based violence. Still, the BDD Chawl people has created their own kind of the culture. We can call as the BDD culture, and you cannot see such kind of the culture, popular culture, a popular kind of the culture in the other BDD, other Chawls in the Bombay city. So uh, so there are the and again this BDD Chawl became a part of the working class area. It was a very close to the uh, it was very close to the Lalbagh Parel area, but we couldn't see the way Lalbagh Parel area organize a kind of common Ganpati festivals. We couldn't see such kind of the festivals a large in a large proportions in the BDD Chawl area. Again, in 19 after after 2000s, we could see there are some BDD Chawls groups. They have started the Sarvajanik Ganeshotsav Mandals, but in the beginning area in the 1940s, 1960s, and 1970s, Ganpati festival, though it was kind of popular very close to the BDD Chawl area, Lalbagh area, it was not imitated by the BDD Chawls. Yeah, but again, apart from the obviously Ganpati festival was not that much popular in those days, but after 2000 we could see. But which were the festivals where they have the BDD people have started from the earlier? That is, the Holi was important festivals. Big again, the space between the two BDD chawls there, it was used for the holy practices. And you can see the dominant caste dominated BDD chawls, they regularly celebrate the holy festivals in the middle of the two BDD chawls. Even as I earlier mentioned about the Veer Netaji Krida Mandal at the Worli, uh, and as I show that Rukmini Mandir, there every year the Ashadha Ekadashi is also the with the Ashadha Ekadashi celebrated by the BDD Chawl Kramang 78 and 79 of the Worli. So, looking at the cultures, we could see there are the few BDD Chawls. They are connected with the specific festivals, and they do same thing for the they celebrate this festival for the every year. So there are the few BDD chawls which are famous for the Holi. There are the few BDD chawls which are famous for the kind of other festivals, other religious festivals. So from the beginning only, the people who has taken the initiative to start the one festival, and that became a part of their life. So everywhere, uh, very religiously, they celebrate their own festivals. So now this is a Holika Astav, kind of celebrated by the Veer Netaji Krida Mandal at the Worli. So these people, BDD Chawal people, are not only the celebrating the festivals. With the festivals, they are also giving the message, social message, political message to the nations also. You can see that uh, they are burning they are burning where it is written that is the rape ik sharp. So obviously, when it was this message was given before prior, we have seen that kind of in our country, we have seen the foreign tourist has been raped, and uh, uh, to make awareness among the people of the Worli. So they burn they burn the Holy Kastav, and they have given the message to the world also. And the important thing is that while doing this such social messages, these Worli BDD residents come together from the children to the uh, old age people. They came together, they sit together, and they decide for this year what message should be given, and what happened in our country we should burn that. So such kind of debates happens, such kind of the democratic in the democratic structure, they do the festivals also. Yeah, and as I mentioned about the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was very close to the BDD Chawl people, mainly the Worli BDD Chawl, and also the Naigaon and the Dilla Road and the Shivri. So the Ambedkar Jayanti as a celebrated in two ways. The first, it is celebrated religiously, the kind of festival for them, BDD Chawl, for the residents of the BDD Chawls, the Ambedkar Jayanti, in some BDD Chawl, it is celebrated uh, uh, for the 1 month also. Obviously, there are the three important days they do for the celebration, that is the 14th April, 15th April, and the 16th April. So for the 3 days, you can see the n number of activities. So this the first photo above, left side above, top, that photo is about the festival. It is kind of the showing that Jayanti is converted in the festivals. And the second photo, we can see the exhibition has been put, and where uh, kind of again the social message has been given through the exhibitions. Yeah, and you can see that a talk has been organized by the few BDD Chawls on the Ambedkar Jayanti. You can see Ek Hath Matti Cha. So they are collecting the book and the pen, and they are distributing to the needy people. So such social activities also has taken place during the Ambedkar Jayanti in the BDD Chawls. Yeah. Now I will go to the corridors of community everyday social life in the Transis. So you can see that the first pictures where that is a passage between the two rooms. Okay. You can see Ganpati festivals is going on. So that passage has been used for the festivals again. You can see this, the childrens are playing the games and all that. Again, they are utilizing the space between the two rooms. Again, these are the spaces are very important in the life of the BDD residents. The one, because they don't have a kind of enough space to do such kind of the activities inside the rooms. So they don't have any option. They have only whatever the options that is very limited, and they are using for the various purposes. You can see this cloth has been hanged uh, outside their room. So they have used these spaces for the various purpose. They are using for the festivals. They are using for the children's. The elder people are sitting. They are relaxing. So the few elder people do the walk in the evening and the morning. So this middle place has been used for the n number of activities by the BDD residents. Yeah. So you can see some pictures of the inside of the BDD Chawls, where, as I mentioned about earlier, it was up basically for the working class, but in the later phase, we have seen that a poor mobility of the BDD Chawl residents. So you can see the how they decorated their insides. You can see the how the gardening has been done by the resident, because they don't have the space. Again, they are using the outside space for the gardening. You can see that a very limited area, and how they have kept their utensil, kept their the things systematically, and they have used a very small area for keeping the n number of things of the. Again, in the last photo, right side, uh, yeah. So you can see that, as I mentioned, this was for the urban poor, but later on there are the poor mobility, and that space was very limited, 10 by 12, hardly 120 square foot area was inside. But you can see that vertical encroachment has been taken place, and this one room kind of one room kitchen has been converted into the 1 BHK. Okay, and you have there are some photos also which I have not mentioned here, but that extension area uh, has been kind of used for the hall, like 1 BHK hall by the various residents. So the problem of this space has always become a problem from the beginning to till 2025. But in the later course, they have came with their own methodology to extend their homes outside in the sky, and such kind of the pictures you can see that they all type kind of the Naigao everywhere wherever there is a BDD Chawls. Yeah. So these are the some rooms we can see that, as I mentioned about as I shown the some photos of the inside of the BDD Chawl, which is very beautiful and attractive. At the same times, these are the BDD Chawls where we could see that they are called as the bachelor rooms. So from the earlier, most of the cotton textile workers, they were the bachelors. They used to come as a single person in the city of the Bombay to search of the jobs, and those days they didn't have any place. So for to accommodate such kind of the bachelors, all BDD Chawl has started such kind of the bachelor rooms, where 20 to 30 workers used to stay in such kind of the rooms, where you can see there is these rooms from 1930s to 2025. This room has not changed for a while also. It is as it is maintained how it was when it was constructed. So there is no renovation from the inside. So these are the rooms were used by the bachelor workers, and we could see the kind of 20 to 30 workers are staying in this BDD Chawls. So the condition is kind of vulnerable, and you don't find uh, renovations inside this, because there is no permanent resident in this particular rooms. Uh, the bachelor comes and goes, so no one is looking after such kind of the room. So the situation is a very worse to stay, but still workers are managing and they're staying using. And so such kind of the though the condition is a worst, but these are the rooms which are kind of the destination of the working class who are first time migrating to the rural village to this city. So after settling here, after getting job, and once they are get if they are enough to move outside, so they are living these bachelor rooms. So the bachelor rooms is like that every few years, for the 4 to 5 years, these are the rooms for the bachelors. Later on, when they are settled in the city, they are living. So always you can see that people are coming and going, the and no one is a permanent in such kind of the bachelor rooms. And for the migration, it was a very important place to protect the migrant, to give shelter to the migrant. For the last, basically, this is the terrace which I mentioned earlier. So again, terrace has been used for the various purpose. As already I mentioned about the pigeon net. Again, you can see this identity has been, place. You can see this flag, uh, where you can see this flag is representative of the Republican Party of India or Ambedkarite movement. The terrace has been used for the various activities for the night. The most of the male members, uh, they as space crunch in the rooms, the terrace has been used for the various purpose. Even the terrace, as I mentioned about the rights, so this terrace has been used by the political also. Whenever there were the rights, uh, this terrace, most of the stones and all that, the workers, the residents, they use to this terrace used for the rides also. From the top, the stones were thrown for the opposite directions, and basically for the when there is a rights between the two communities. So politically, this space has been used is in a various kind of communal or the caste tensions. Yeah. So now you can see this situation of the ground, which was those days it was used for the crickets and all that. But we could see that again, the most of the BDD Chawl residents has gone through labor class to kind of a middle class. Their upper mobility has the cars, vehicles, and all that. So earlier the ground which was for the sports, now it has been used for the parking purposes. So their priority has changed, and the space has the nature of space, public space also the change. Yeah. So now we have seen that BDD Chawl is under the redevelopment, and there is while doing the redevelopment, there are the questions. The first, while doing the redevelopment of the BDD Chawl, the authority has not studied the caste of the caste and BDD Chawls. As I mentioned, when it was constructed, and the distribution basis on the caste and religion created problem for the last 100 years, from 1925 to 2025. And again, in the redevelopment, the authority has ignored the caste, their surveys, caste-based surveys, and the history of the caste and BDD Chawl has been ignored, and the redevelopment has taken. Again, authority has not, they have not concerned about the riots, how the riots has happened in the BD rituals, and how the space has been used for the riots, and what kind of the causes for the riots in the BDD, early BD ritual. So that has also not looked by the authorities. And if we don't understand the history of riots of the BD rituals, and we are going to redevelop, the might be problem will arise in future also. The economic survey of the BDD Chawl has not been taken, because after the redevelopment, uh, the maintenance will be the big problem in front of the BDD residents. As I mentioned, till they are paying the 17 or 18 rupees per month to the PWD, and after redevelopment, after few years, if the maintenance is goes up to the 10,000s or more than the 5,000, it will be difficult to few BDD residents to survive, and that has to take into consideration. As I mentioned about the village rooms or the workers rooms or the bachelor rooms, after the redevelopment, these rooms will be vanished, and it is very difficult to the migrant workers uh, to kind of they will they will lose their first destinations of the Bombay city, or the kind of shelter to the migrant. So that loss of bachelor rooms will be also affect the migration patterns of the patterns to the Bombay city. In future, there should be a provision to avoid caste and religious based tensions in the redevelopment plan. Unfortunately, it has not considered. There is no clarity of maintenance and other economic charges, and also no provision for working men and women hostels. If there is no bachelor rooms, there should be working women hostels, but there is no provision and no clarity of the government hostels redevelopment. Again, BDD Chawl has uh, mainly Worli BDD Chawl has two government hostels which was run by the social welfare department. There is a uh, there is no plan in the redevelopment about the student hostels. Yeah. So these are the some pictures. The middle one is kind of the redevelopment is going on, and such buildings is going to the BDD residents will be occupied in such huge towers. Yeah. So in conclusion, in sum up, I will say that these BDD chawls are merely relics of industrial area housing, but living archives of the caste, class, gender, and migration in urban India. The story, shaped by the hardship and hope, offers critical insight into the politics of the space, memory, and contemporary redevelopment Mumbai. The preserving this layered legacy while addressing present needs is the key challenge and opportunity for the city's planners and citizen alike. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kambale. That was
Yeah.
really an amazing talk and really so much detail and things that, we hadn't heard of before. So very, very interesting and just so much detail about the history of these very famous stalls in Mumbai.
Thank
There
you.
are a couple of questions. The first one was of the pigeon races, and do those still continue?
Yeah, the only few BD rituals, mainly I have seen in the Naigaon only the photo of that is in the Naigaon.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem what happened, the internal conflict between the residents, because that pigeon net is belong to one particular person or one particular family.
Yeah.
And also there was a problem because of that pigeon net, there is a kind of a leakage to the third floor.
Oh, okay.
And there is a problem to the third floor resident. So, what the which photo I have shown
Mm-hmm.
for that right corner, exactly below that pigeon net, that owner is resident. So that's why it is allowed, because
Okay.
whatever the problems with that, he has to bear. If something the place is a different area, then again that will be the problem to the other residents.
Right, right. Yeah, because some people were saying now that, pigeons are considered to be a medical issue, etc. But this is a one-off thing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're saying unlike more than one family occupying the same room in the 1940s, when did it change to a single family room? And is occupancy still based on caste congregation or segregation, or has it diffused over time?
Basically, when it was started, obviously there were the three, four families, and still in the BDD Chawl, there are the some rooms who are staying with the two, three families.
Okay.
But most of the are right now uh, the one family is there. But it has changed after the 2000s drastically. But till 90s and 60s, we could see there are the two, three families are staying, and still there are the though they are not staying, but they have claim over that two three families are matlab, two three brother kind of siblings are there, they are staying a different area,
Hmm.
but when their redevelopment will come, they will
Hmm.
claim on that particular one room only. And second, what are the another questions?
The other question was that now that they have been standing for more than 100 years, and so how is it maintained?
Yeah, it is actually maintained by the PWD,
Oh.
public. It is by the government, but though it was maintained by the PWD, the construction, uh, basically the structure was very solid.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no problem with the structure still today.
Hmm.
But we have seen that so many changes has been done by the residents.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the situations of the BDD has worsened. Otherwise, the structure was very, as compared with the other chawls, the BDD structure was very solid and
Mm-hmm.
very. So that's why we could see that till 100 years, uh, it has been maintained.
Yeah, there was another question about so there's no paying of any maintenance charges by the residents.
Yeah, as I mentioned that it's right now they are paying only the 17 or 18 rupees per
Yeah,
month. So it was started with the 7 rupees,
yeah.
and yeah.
But would you think that what happens to people if like that is quite low, but like after redevelopment, do you think that'll increase, and what will happen to people if they can't pay any such
Yeah,
charge?
exactly. Now the thing is that MHADA has said that till 5 to 10 years there will not be a maintenance. Okay. But the thing is, what happened? They are constructing the 32 storage buildings, and
Okay.
yeah, so after 10 years, so they have to bear the that maintenance whatever will be, and because of the high rise, there will be the high maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay, so that maintenance probably it will be a problematic to the kind of few residents BDD choice, because still they are comes in the comes in the kind of the urban poor. So they are not
Right.
literally convert, matlab, they have not jumped to the middle class. So there are the some middle class they can afford, but not
Mhm.
all the BDD residents. So after 10 years, again that after 10 years, within the 10 years, they are not going to change their entire life from the poor class to middle class. The
Correct.
one generation has to pass to the change their economic status.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So do you think they'll be just like rehoused somewhere else? What do you think will happen?
The probably will happen that if it is not in their economic control, they will have to sell it, and again that even the before redevelopment there are so many families has sold their BDD chawls. So
Hmm.
again that will be happen, and in future, if
Hmm.
this urban poor will not be a kind of able to stay in this kind of the heartland of the Mumbai city,
Yeah.
so again they have to leave this city and they have to go outside of the MMR region.
Yeah.
And that particular this after redevelopment, the most of the this BDD chawl will be considered as the only the upper middle class and the middle class.
Hmm.
So it will be nowhere kind of the working class and the urban poor residents.
Hmm. So that's quite a change then in its history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Shenwai had a very interesting question. They said if because BDB Chawl has been around so much and witnessed so much in Mumbai, if it could speak, if the Chawl could speak, what would it say to Mumbai today?
Yeah, it is a very interesting question, and it is
Yeah.
difficult to answer also because the for the last 100 years BDD has seen everything. So I think BDD will say that uh, don't change me. I think that would be my answer. I don't know what she's expecting,
Yeah.
but
Right. Any answer then? Yeah. Yeah. And do private developers have eyes on these chawl spaces in general now? Because they're all on very, prime land, etc.
Fortunately, it is the government has taken decision to give to the MHADA. So the MHADA is
Okay.
going to develop, but the whatever the space MHADA will get, obviously they will construct it uh, 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 for their policy. But fortunately, BDD was saved from the private builders.
Yeah, but other areas might not be.
Yeah, other they are interested, but the entire BDD project is, coordinated by the MHADA, that is a government entity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, and there's one last question about, do you think redevelopment could balance like modern infrastructure and retain, the social fabric of the chawls and what made them resilient for decades?
Yeah, obviously redevelopment is essential. I don't say that it should not be redeveloped because after 100 years it should be.
Yeah.
But while doing the redevelopment, government has to understand the history of the BDD Chawls, the
Mm.
culture,
Mm.
communal tension and all. Unfortunately, they have not conducted. And what happened in the redevelopment? The most of the VDD from the both side, from the neo-Buddhist or the Dalit sides and from the dominant caste also. If
Yes.
just I'm giving the example, if the BDD Cholkramank first and second is belong from the dominant caste, they want to shift in the new building in a one building only.
Right.
Matlab basically whatever the building will be, so the both will be go into uh, the similar redevelop high-rise building. And
Right.
like that only the neo-Buddhists also they are asking and they are demanding, and redevelopment is happening that like that only because
Mm.
the because BDD Chawl 1 2 3, so 1 2 3 is a by default is a belong from the particular caste, and they are combining these three buildings to the one high rise buildings, so these all residents will go to the one buildings, so
Mm.
indirectly they are moving the one caste in the one building, one religion in the one
Yeah.
building, so directly or indirectly such kind of the segregation is going to happen because
Mm.
there is no planned redevelopment. There is no kind of the study of this caste, gender, sorry, caste and religious
Yeah.
conflicts and all that,
Yeah.
and from the both side they are also asking that the same things.
Well, I think yes, that's why it's important to know history and know how these things have
Yeah.
come up. Then can color things in a better way. Anyway, a lot of people, oh, sorry, there is one more question. What happens to all the religious places built in the middle spaces? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Those religious people, those religious places which are legal, uh, they are going to redevelop those such mandirs, whatever the religious places are there. So those are not legal. Those are constructed in the later phase. They are not going to. They will be a. The government will not allot a same place for them.
anyway, thank you once again for a really, really fascinating talk. There are many messages of how everyone has, there's great praise for your presentation, sir, and it's, been a wonderful, lots of information and knowledge for all of us. So then, thank you very much for that, and thank you everybody else for joining as well. And we wish you, I hope you join us on our next Saturday for our next talk, and good night for now.
Thank you very much, each and everyone.